and help me.
You can sing this song in the front.
David,
You need the music.
turn those lights on.
Number is 35. I can always think of thee.
Yes. Oh, yes, please come choir.
Come on.
You don't have to stand together. Yes. When I say that, my dream is that everybody comes out, so.
So silently, I will always think of thee. My heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. When I laugh, Lord, something in my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. My heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. I am eternal thee. Oh, my God, in all the deserts and go and take me into storms. In my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. In my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. When I look at thee, and when I yet not with thee, or loving thee. My heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. In my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. I am thine for eternity. Dear God, my God, I am thine eternally.
Wonderful. My favorite.
Way to start the day.
Good
Thank
job.
you. This chant is
$32.
32.
Thank you.
I give you my soul call.
Mother, I give you my soul, soul, soul. sky. Come out of the mountain glen. Come out of the silent sky. Come out of the mountain glen. Come out of my secret soul, mother, come out of my secret soul. Come out of my cave of silence. Come out of my cave of silence. Mother, I give you my soul, soul, soul. You can't remain hidden anymore. You can't remain hidden anymore.
figuring
See,
that
is
out,
okay?
we
I'll
will
do it very, very
do a
slowly.
chant.
Just follow me.
Okay.
There's no,
I just need the book.
I don't know what key it's in there. The words are very simple. You don't need the book. Joy, 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 ever new joy.
It's under E, ever new. And it's in C. Okay, good.
I just,
Follow me, I'll do it really slowly, okay?
I just have to laugh because Mary always played this so slowly and devotionally, and I would sometimes be like, I'm much more kind of rajasic or outward, and it was, I remember feeling impatient, and then when I stopped and slowed down and I could feel her bliss singing it and playing it, and you've seen pictures of her where she's chanting and her
This
face
is her
is
signature
lit.
chant. To you, Mary, we love you.
Joy, 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 ever new joy, 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 ever new joy, 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 ever
meditation. Let's come into an upright position. Just take a moment and take a deep breath into your heart center and feel that ever new joy of the heart. You may even feel your heart smiling at this moment. Feel that uplifting energy of divine joy moving up to the point between the eyebrows. Feel yourself gazing straight ahead towards infinity through the Christ center. Allow the breath to come into its natural rhythm, witnessing the upward flowing current on inhalation and relaxing back down on exhalation. And keeping the focus at the spiritual eye, feel the still point at the very end of the exhalation. Tuning into that deep inner stillness. That's our true nature. That's where joy wells from, joy and love, divine love. Allowing the body to breathe itself. And as the body inhales, mentally repeating the sacred mantra Hong. And as the body exhales, Sa, meaning I am spirit. Thou and I are one. We'll meditate for 5 minutes.
Remaining in a meditative state, please listen to this week's quality of the week, immortality. You are not your body. You are not your thoughts, your desires, your changing personality. Your body has a certain age, but you yourself have no age. Your body may tire or become unwell, but you yourself, the fatigueless soul, cannot tire, can never know disease. Tell yourself always, I am a child of eternity. Don't be identified with your outward form, nor with change, but live in timelessness. It is our identity to change that creates the illusion of passing time. Feel that through all outward changes, you, the immortal soul, remain the same. Death itself will be but one more change. Be not identified with it. Then when death comes, you shall rise in eternal freedom. Please affirm with me in a strong voice, I am a child of eternity.
I am a child of eternity.
I am ageless, I am deathless.
I am ageless, I am deathless.
I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation.
I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation.
Again affirm in a normal tone, I am a child of eternity.
I am a child of eternity.
I am ageless, I am deathless.
I am ageless, I am deathless.
I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation.
I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation.
Going more inward, in a whisper, affirm, I am a child of eternity. I am ageless, I am deathless. I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation.
I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation.
Drawing the affirmation into the subconscious, silently affirm, I am a child of eternity. I am ageless. I am deathless. I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation. Drawing the affirmation to the point between the eyebrows to the point of superconsciousness, affirm silently, I am a child of eternity. I am ageless. I am deathless. I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation. And the prayer, wherever my body travels outwardly, let me feel thy changeless spirit within. Whenever my thoughts take me, let me return always like prodigal children to find repose in thee. Om, peace. Amen.
This is a reading from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Kriyananda. Week 49, what is it to fail spiritually? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. The first passage is from the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 25. Jesus tells the parable of the 10 virgins, 5 of them wise and 5 foolish. They await their bridegroom, the Christ consciousness. The wise virgins keep the oil in their lamps, symbolic of their devotion, lit through the night. The foolish virgins place no oil in their lamps. These foolish ones are like the average devotee, going through the motions of outer ritual, but keeping no fire of love burning in the heart. When the bridegroom's coming is announced, the foolish virgins realize their mistake and hasten out to purchase oil. During their absence, the Christ consciousness comes and embraces those who have been awaiting him with devotion. The foolish ones, by their lackluster devotion, are not accepted by him. Bless you. Watch, therefore, Jesus told his listeners, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. In the autobiography of a yogi, Paramhansa Yogananda describes the foolish virgin consciousness he encountered in the Mahamandal hermitage he stayed in as a young man in Benares. I was pleased, he wrote, that my new home possessed an attic where I managed to spend the dawn and morning hours. The ashram members, knowing little of meditation practices, thought I should employ my whole time in organizational duties. They gave me praise for my afternoon work in their office. Don't try to catch God so soon. This ridicule accompanied one of my early departures toward the attic, later during meditation. I felt lifted as though bodily to a sphere uncircumscribed. Thy master cometh today. A divine womanly voice came from everywhere and nowhere. This supernal experience was pierced by a shout from a definite locale. A young priest named Habu was calling me from the downstairs kitchen. Mukunda, enough of meditation. You are needed for an errand. The Divine Mother's words were not spoken for the benefit of that priest, the foolish virgin, but for Mukunda, the wise virgin, for this was the day his guru, Sri Yukteswar, came to him. Grieve not, friends, if you feel that you have been foolish. No error is forever. Someday, if you keep your lip now, your opportunity will come. In the Bhagavad Gita, the 6th chapter, Krishna promises every devotee, Arjuna, none who works for self-redemption will ever meet an evil destiny. Spiritual failure, though a deep disappointment, is always temporary. Eternal hellfire is but a projection of vindictiveness in the human mind. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om,
Good morning again, everyone. Nice to see you all here today. All right, we'll start with a reading from Whispers from Eternity, Yogananda's beautiful book of prayer demands and poems. And today I'll be reading number 201. I vow never again to turn my gaze from thee. I take this sacred vow. Never will I lower my love's gaze below the eyebrow horizon of my constant thoughts of thee. Never will I turn my uplifted inner sight away from thee. Never will I let my mind dwell on anything that reminds me not of thee. I will disdain the nightmare of ignorant behavior. I will court all dreams of noble achievement, those of love, kindness, and understanding, for they are thy dreams. Though I dream many dreams, wakefully, I will ever think of thee. In the sacred fire of constant remembrance, keep ever alight on my soul's altar. I will ever behold thy presence with the watchful eyes of devotional love. Thy grace has shown me that the dualities of health and sickness, life and death, joy and sorrow are but passing fantasies. I am finished with those eternally self-canceling delusions. I am persuaded at last that there is but one abiding reality, thy eternal, ever-conscious, ever-new, ever-thrilling, infinite bliss. So beautiful. I'd like to start by just acknowledging our beautiful friend, Mary. So today's topic is, what is it to fail spiritually? And Mary is a success story. She really is a beautiful reminder of what it means to live in God's light and love at all times. I'm going to put her photo back now. So as Duty mentioned, Duty and Mary were very, very close friends. They raised their children together at Ananda village. When we were singing, I became very overcome with emotion. Mary was a mentor and a teacher to many of us here. She is really a pillar of Ananda worldwide. She was the healing minister, and it's a little bit hard to imagine Ananda without her. And although we do feel very sorrowful, she just passed away on Wednesday, and for some of us it came quite unexpected. But her essence lives on, and in some ways she can be more helpful to us now. Yogananda said that the channel is blessed by what flows through it. And Mary spent decades of her life praying for other people. It's such a beautiful ministry. She wrote a book. I don't have it here today, but it's called The Healer's Handbook. And she spent years scouring all of Master's teachings for every detail on how to be a healer or a channel of God's love to other people. And she compiled that in a book. And for many of us here, she was our teacher. She taught us how to heal or how to use ourselves as an instrument, as a blessing to bring healing into the world. For me personally, I first met Mary when my daughter was 4 years old, and I was starting my many years of yoga therapy training at the village. I was there a couple of times a year, every year. And I didn't have a role model for being a mother raising a small child and trying to be the best devotee and disciple I could be. And I found so much comfort in her counsel. You know, she really was such a beautiful example that everything we do is a way to worship God. She raised 3 children herself. The other part about Mary's work that is so beautiful is that we are on a path called Raja Yoga. It's the royal yoga. And Yogananda encouraged us to find all 3 parts of the spiritual path for yogis, which is karma yoga, bhakti. Karma is service, bhakti is love, and jnana, which is wisdom. And Mary really embraced all 3 of those. First of all, we would think karma yoga because she spent her whole life praying for other people. But she was such a beautiful bhakti. She loved God so much. And we're talking about today how to keep God with us in every instant in our life. And she really embodied that practice. And as far as wisdom, she was so wise because she was a channel for God's healing energy and power. So I'd just like to acknowledge that it is a great loss for us, but also it's a great joy that she is praying for us. And even if you haven't met Mary, you are a beneficiary of her prayers because she prayed for Ananda, Rhode Island for years that we would continue to grow and that we would exude magnetism in the world. She had family in New England, so we held a very special place in her heart. So Mary, we love you. We know that you're still with us. And from there, I'll talk about the parable of the 10 virgins because, again, this concept is that the light, the oil in the lamps is our oil of devotion in our hearts. Some people define the parable of the virgins as the literal second coming of Christ, that Christ would actually come back in body to earth. Some traditions believe that, but Yogananda explained that it was actually a parable and that the lamps represented all the different ways that we can worship God, all the different forms of worship. And the oil, again, is just simply our love and our devotion for God. And that it's important that we need to keep that part of ourselves ever present with God, no matter what we're doing. So how do we do that? How do we cultivate a consciousness of divine love and devotion? Well, it's simply just thinking of God in every situation. It's bringing God with us to work. It's bringing God into our families, into raising our families, into being in community. It's just having that consciousness that we are just channels for this divine energy. It was so beautiful today that our affirmation is immortality, because that's really the whole message here, is that we are these spiritual beings that are just encased in this little physical form for a short amount of time. And the more that we can stay in remembrance of where we came from, the more that we can keep that oil of devotion lit in our hearts. And you know, we can simply say every day, I invite the expanded consciousness of divine love into my life, into my heart. If we make that our affirmation every day, God, when we invite God in, God is there. God is there for us when we send that invitation. I want to talk a little bit about this concept of like stepping into love in every situation, because we can make a conscious decision to make love, divine love, our default setting in everything that happens in our life. And you know, whenever we feel ourselves getting impatient or frustrated or judgmental about something going on in our life, that means that we're stepping out of divine love. That means that we're stepping into ego consciousness. And it seems like everybody I know over the last couple of weeks have had some really intense things manifest in their life, myself included. And I found myself at work last week, 3 or 4 different projects that I'd been working on for a long time, and situations, everything seemed to just fall apart and get reorganized. And my first reaction, I'll be honest, was frustrating. I was very frustrated and I was irritated, and I could feel myself kind of getting like a little bit angry and wanting to blame others. And when I found myself doing that, I made a conscious choice to lead with love. And so it takes practice, but that's what we can do. And as soon as we start feeling that irritation or that judgment or that anger, to really catch it and nip it at the bud, so to speak, and just make a choice. I'm going to lead with love in this situation. I'm going to offer this to God. I'm going to keep God in my heart. And I found that really quickly all of those things turned around and actually became opportunities for a better version of what we were kind of aiming for. And so that's something that we can all do every day. It's a very important thing to remember, that we have the ability to choose love and to choose peace and to choose joy. I also want to talk about the foolish virgins, because they were devotees too. And I don't know about you, but I can actually really relate to the foolish virgins because they loved God just as much as the wise virgins did. They were all waiting for the bridegroom to come. They were all waiting for the Christ consciousness. But the foolish virgins just got pulled away. And that happens to each of us every day. We get pulled into work. We get pulled into family. We get pulled into little dramas, or we get too pulled into the news, or whatever it is that just takes our consciousness off of the thought of God in every situation. And the whole point of this parable is that God is always with us. It's us who have to refine our remembrance of that. And once we start pulling away and getting pulled into the material world, that's when we lose that devotion. That's when we lose the oil of the lamp. So in today's reading, Jesus tells us, "Watch, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour when the Son of Man will cometh." And many of the great saints, and some of us, in fact, have had that experience of being just in our everyday life, but just thinking of God, or perhaps repeating the name of God in the form of japa, when all of a sudden the veil lifts and we have that moment of pure bliss or pure joy that just bubbles up in the most unexpected time. And that's what we're talking about today, that when we keep our consciousness on God, that can come to us at any time, in any place. We don't have to be sitting in meditation or in a cave in the Himalayas. It can happen while we're grocery shopping. You know, I had an experience in New York City in the subway once. So it's just that consciousness, that keeping God with us in everything we do, and then God comes to us. The more that we invite God in, the more that God is able to come to us and express that beautiful vibration of love and joy and peace. Yogananda said, I love this quote, "No matter what you may be doing, you are always free to whisper your love to God until you consciously receive His response. This is the surest way to contact Him in the mad rush of present-day life." And isn't that true? You know, that's the practice of japa. It's one of our practices. Yogananda encouraged us to repeat, Om God, Om Christ, Om Gurus. And that's a japa practice. No matter what we're doing, we keep God close to us in our hearts. I wanted to tell you about a little observation I had over Thanksgiving. So my family is a Scrabble family. I don't know if any of you play Scrabble, but we're a Scrabble family. So anyone who plays Scrabble knows what I'm talking
I thought you
about.
said Scrapple.
Scrabble, yeah. Scrabble, the game Scrabble. So over Thanksgiving, we played Scrabble a few times. My daughter was home, and then a friend of hers came to stay with us one night, another friend and some family. So we played a few great games, and I noticed that there were 4 types of Scrabble players. So if you don't know the game, you put your hand in a bag and you pick out 7 letters to start, and then as you make words, and as the game goes on, you have to keep taking more letters. So the first type of Scrabble player is the type who, with like great enthusiasm and joy and will, they take their letters out, and whatever they get, they just work with. You know, they come up with something. The second type of player personality is one who's very quiet and concentrated, and they too take their letters and then they're very quiet and they're thinking, and then they surprise everybody with what they put on the board. The third type of player are the type who complain about their letters. I got bad letters, I can't do anything with these letters, this isn't fair. And then the fourth type of player is the type that halfway through the game, they're just like, I quit. I just can't do it anymore. And I saw all of these Scrabble personality types over the weekend. And of course it was with great love, because they're all family and friends, but we had a few players that were new, and it was hard for them to sort of get into the whole process. But it really reminded me of life and the spiritual path. It's like, those tiles that we pull, depending on our karma and what God gives us, we all get a certain amount of, we get situations, we get people, we get relationships. And as devotees, we want to embrace everything with joy and willingness and enthusiasm. The other type of player is also a good thing to have as a devotee, to be very quiet and inward and just work with what you have and keep working. But we don't want to be the ones who say that everything is bad. We don't want to be complaining all the time. We don't want to quit. That's the failure. That's a spiritual failure when we start to sort of get into this woe is me, or this isn't fair that I received this situation in my life. Everything that comes to us we know is a gift from God. And so if we can sort of embrace that joy and enthusiasm, even in the most difficult, painful moments of our life, to just go into God, go into love, ask God to carry us through the difficult times. That's how we succeed. That's how we avoid failing spiritually. And really, failure is a human construction. In God's eyes, there's no failure whatsoever, because we're all on this spectrum and we're all going to the same place. We're all going to end up being united with God forever, to a point where we don't have to incarnate anymore. So anything that we do, if we use our free will and we make the wrong choice or a lower choice, instead of following our energy upward to the point between the eyebrows, we let it go down. No matter what we do, we learn from that. And it's that learning that helps us to keep putting one foot in front of the other. So in God's eyes, there's no failure whatsoever. He loves us unconditionally. She loves us. He loves us, no matter what choice we make. And there's no wrong or bad choice ultimately. Jesus described his second coming in these words, "For as lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." The east of the body is the spiritual eye, and the west is that receiving the Christ consciousness, moving back to the medulla, and illuminating our whole body with Christ consciousness. And that's available to each of us. We're in the season of Christ right now. We have our all-day meditation in 2 weeks. This is the time of the year to really open your hearts to that Christ consciousness, and to stay in love, to stay in attunement, stay in remembrance of God's joy in every situation. And we too might find that we have that moment of the Christ consciousness, the bridegroom coming to us when we least expect it.